Hell yeah, but
Well, yeah, but
yeah.
like,
I did it without the album. It's before the riot. Look, now I'm on fire. Icy as a hockey ring, feeling fire. When I bought the Rolls Royce, they thought it was lease. Then I bought that new Ferrari. Hey, the rest in peace. Hey, the rest in peace. Rest in peace.
What does it mean to you to be an Avon Eagle?
It means a lot. I've been playing here since fourth grade. It's a great environment, and I have so many friends that I've made from Avon football, and it's a big part of my life. So yeah.
Think of everything that you guys do, the dirty dozens, the two-a-days, the getting up 5 a.m. to lift. How would you describe that to an outsider that has no clue?
It's hell. Like it is terrible. Waking up at 5:30 on a school day and then having to go through the rest of the school day just absolutely sucks. And it's a grind, but like we've been doing it for so long that it feels almost natural to us. So for us, like once you've done it for a couple of years, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. I've been doing it forever. Let's just do this. But for an outsider, it'd definitely be weird. You'd be like, why are you waking up at 5:30? And be like, because I gotta go lift. And yeah.
How much does that change you as a person?
I think it just makes me a harder worker and just like I'm more disciplined. Like I wake myself up at 5 o'clock. Like nobody has to tell me to do that. And just in general, like I don't have to tell my parents to they don't have to tell me to do a lot of things. I can do it on my own because I've been waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go lift. I know when I have to go to practice. I do all those things on my own. So it just makes me a more disciplined and a more hardworking person.
You were voted as a captain this year.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
It doesn't mean like I have more power. It just means I have more responsibility, and so I have to lead my friends and everything. But it's a great honor for them to think of me as a person to do that.
With that, does that mean more pressure?
I think it does kind of mean more pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
How much does all the things that you guys go through separate you from other teams in the area and in the state?
It makes a huge gap because I don't know a lot of people that have to wake up, and especially like the Shiketti meal plan. I don't know a lot of people who are having to gain 20 pounds and they have to chart their weight every week. And I don't think a lot of schools do that, and that just separates us. It helps us get bigger, stronger, faster, and then mentally, our coaches really pound the idea of knowing your assignment and everything. So we try not to be selfish players. We try to be team players, and I think that all just separates us from the rest of the teams.
Who's one player on the roster that stands out to you that maybe they don't get the pub, their name's not in the paper all the time, but they just show up, ball out every day and impress you?
Dylan Hergenrode. You don't hear that name a lot, but he is a hard worker. Like he is one of him and Hamilton on the edges, two top tackles. I think. If he was a little bit heavier, he's only like 230, but if he was a little bit heavier, you'd be seeing him a lot more in the paper. But you don't hear about him. But he's a hard worker. He's a quiet worker, and he's a great guy. Yeah.
That guy, he's a great player.
Great player.
Talking to your teammates this year, a lot of the thoughts is state championship. Mm-hmm. Is that in your mind too?
That's always in my mind, but for us, it's the most important game is the next game. Like I'm not worried about the last one. The last one will come, but right now we're focused on Stratford. Like that is the next game. We have to win that game. We have to win all our games. We can't just think, oh yeah, let's go to the last game and think about state championship because then you're gonna lose early. That happened to some other teams. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't be doing that. We have to stay focused on our next game, and then once that state championship comes, if it does come, we'll be ready for it.
You ever look around and look at some of the skill positions and pass rushers and everything on this team and just you almost want to sit back as a fan and watch?
It's crazy. Look, I'm a lineman, so sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I get caught in the gaze looking at our receivers and our quarterbacks just out there throwing dimes. I'm looking at Drew making these catches. I'm looking at Sam making all these dimes and everything. And as a lineman, sometimes I just be getting distracted. That's just how great our skill positions are.
If you were an opposing defense and you had to go against those guys, what would you be thinking?
I would be scared, I don't want to say it, but I'd be scared they are Jacorian, I would not want to tackle that dude, especially on that O-line. I went against Hamilton last year, and it was just awful. Hated it. Never, hardly won. It was just awful. And then Dylan Hergenrode, the same thing. On our outsides, Drew and everybody. It's just a nightmare to go against, but it makes us great.
How would ending your senior year be perfect? What would be a good ending?
For me personally, really just to win the last one. And biggest thing for me personally is against Hoban, because I remember being there sophomore year, watching the game, being on the sidelines, and I hated it. And then I remember coming back junior year where I actually got to play, and it hurt even more. So for that final year, I really just want to get over that hump and finally beat Hoban and get to the state championship and win the state championship. Not just beat Hoban, but I want to win the state championship because then that'll be the first one that Avon has ever won, and I want to leave a lasting legacy here.
How psyched are you for your senior year?
I'm ecstatic. I mean, I wake up every day. I'm like, I get to play football today with one of the best teams in the state, and I'm always excited for it.
A genuine good human being that will do anything for the people that are around him, no matter what the circumstance is. Just one of my favorite people to be around. As a player, he was amazing. Last night at the late game, he literally took over the game. He was just a person that couldn't be blocked. Very super excited for him and what he has going forward for him.
Just from last year to this year, looks like he's just blossomed.
Oh man, he's done a nice job working in the weight room. He's done everything we asked him. We asked him to put on a little bit of weight as he got, moved to the nose technique for us. So, and he's been just doing a great job of, staying consistent with his diet, staying consistent with his workout routine. So he's definitely matured into a big human being.
If you were an opposing offensive coordinator, wouldn't you have to scheme for him?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that he demands double teams, and then our linebackers are free. Those are luxuries that people have when calling a defense, and our linebackers get to run like they do.
You knew there was something special there when he was a freshman. You just weren't sure how his body would develop, and he's blossomed into a Division I type athlete. He's got great size. He's got great strength. He's ultra coachable. Amin Abdul is a young man who you don't have to tell him something twice. Very unselfish. Will play offensive line, defensive line, whatever the team needs. Doesn't say much about that. Has a great motor. He plays hard. And we always talk about the secret to success in Avon being playing harder than your opponents. He's a role model for that. Like, his motor doesn't stop. And I watch some of our guys on the challenge team try to block Amin, and they're not having much luck doing it. So again, he's going to translate not only from high school, but to the college level, and he's going to play at a high level, and I think he'll be a great player in the coming years as well.
He was kind of a quiet player in the last year or two, and he's just kind of like, his shell cracked, along with his kind of his swag and his personality too. Have you noticed that?
No question. It's interesting because I've known all these kids forever, and I remember them in youth football, and I can't remember what grade it was. I don't know if it was 7th grade or 6th grade. I think it might have been 7th or 8th grade, one of his middle school years. He didn't play football. And I remember Amin when he was in youth football, probably 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I remember him because he was a dominant force. He was always long and taller than everybody else at that age. And then there was one year he took off from football, and I remember not seeing him, and I specifically went to seek out, like, where is this kid? Because I thought he was going to be a great player. And thank goodness he came back into the program because he's turned into be a great leader. He's a captain of our football team, and also a great player on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line.
If I was a flavor of ice cream, what would I be? Probably like Blue Cosmos. I don't know. I really like Blue Cosmos. It's a little different. Got the nice blue in it. So I like Blue Cosmos.
If you were a pizza, what toppings would be on it?
I think I'd be like buffalo chicken. A little spicy. I think that's the top piece of topping I'd be.
Hollywood made a movie about the life of Amin Abdul. Who would star as Amin?
Oh my God, who would star as Amin? That's a great question. Maybe Kevin Hart. I don't know. I love watching Kevin Hart. So maybe
it'd be a comedy.
Yeah, hopefully it'd be a comedy. Yeah.
I was thinking you were gonna go Denzel or something.
I mean, Denzel would be nice, but I like laughing, so I think it'd be great to be a comedy like Kevin Hart.
A couple weeks ago, the Mega Millions was at $1 billion.
Yeah.
If you bought that ticket and you won, what would be the first few things you would buy?
First few things? Obviously, my mom and dad, they're not working no more. That's number one. That's every man's dream, to make their mom and dad never work again. That's everyone's dream. And then for me personally, man, that's a great question. I think I maybe buy an island, go live on it. I'm not gonna lie, like being on an island by yourself with your family, I feel like that'd be so nice and just comfortable and just relaxing. So I think I'd buy myself an island.